Hello, hello. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday afternoon, evening, wherever it may be that you're tuning in from. I appreciate you spending a little time of your day hanging out with me here at the V1 HQ in South Georgia. Getting ready to go live down to Montego Bay. Yes, I know Montego Bay is a popular destination as of late, but it got a new scenery and it's free and it's pretty good. So we're going to go check it out. I was going to go St. Martin, but a little bit too long. I didn't want to fly all the way down there. So we're going to skip St. Martin. We're going to go to Montego Bay tonight. We're taking a 787-900, which is one I've never flown on the channel before. I actually haven't even done a complete flight A to B in it yet. It is an interesting one. It's interesting. I definitely think I like the 800 visually over the 900 78, but this one should be fun either way. It's going to be fun flying down there. Nice approach in over the water, and I do have another surprise for you. I'm not going to get to it just yet, so you're going to have to hang tight to see what I got in store. But there is something else that I've been working on for 2 days now, trying to get it set up properly and making things hopefully run smooth. We're going to see. We'll get into that in a minute. But quick shout out here, Fly to Live. Good to see you. Vega 13. Christy, good to see you. I'll probably jump in bed after takeoff, so get a move on, Christy. You need to put a TV in the room, my man. Tom Pasco, good to see you. RC Flyer. Ginar Hoffman. Mateo Chewy. Good afternoon, sir. Tukatari, Tiger Dude, Scott in the house, Harris, Kyle Lewis, Nabil, good to see you. Bomb Tech is here. Good to see you, my friend Josh Kasopi. Thank you for becoming a commercial pilot. Glad to have you on board the channel. Welcome aboard. Jake Funari in the house, Force Raptor, Zach Winnick, John Seifert, and many more. Appreciate y'all. If I missed your name, I apologize. Hopefully, you are Aaron. Did I say Aaron? Got to see Aaron popping in there last minute. I appreciate you. So, all right, y'all. Midnight Maverick, good to see you, my man. Good to see you. I'm just looking at some internet things here. If the internet, so on my end, it shows that the internet is being a little bit skeptical of droppage of frameage. If the stream looks weird to you or like it's skipping or something, let me know, and I'm going to do a hard reset on OBS. I've figured out how I've got my settings properly now where I can close OBS and restart it and still go live from the same event. But hopefully everything's looking pretty smooth. Now there was a little stutter there, but that's just a little bit of frame gen. So hopefully it's just minor issues on my end. So let's get into the airplane first. Let's get it set up, and then I want to show y'all something that I've been working on, and you probably saw it in the thumbnail. It rhymes with Yoke, and it moves airplanes. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. V1 live in the biggest cities in America and has crappy internet because it's Georgia, man. Georgia. Ugh. Well, I don't live in the city. We're South Georgia. I'm south of Georgia here, and I don't know what the deal is, Bomb Tech. I have no idea, man. It's been an issue for the channel ever since I moved. You know, after I started the channel on fiber, trying to fix my seat here, and then it all went downhill from there. But scared of big cities, indeed. All right, let's fire this puppy up. Meanwhile, I forgot to say, look at that. We got a couple Iveo traffics out here. We got a Avianca 7.8 and a Latam 7.8. Love to see that. We're over here at the Latin VFR Miami International Terminal, looking absolutely awesome as always. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. I kind of remember a little bit from the 800, so we're going to go right into the battery. Let me turn my sim sounds up as well. What about Starlink? I have that at the house. I can't stream on it, though. You can't stream on wireless internet. You need hardwired. I didn't mean to turn the IRS on battery. Oh, well. I guess we'll turn them on battery. We'll go ahead and get these on right away. We get the external power. We got forward external, and we also have aft external. So those are all on right now. We'll leave the APU off. Generator off, buses, that's fine. Let's turn on the dome light a little bit here. Overhead panel lights. Oh, yeah. I got to say, this cockpit looks pretty darn good because the real airplane looks like it was kind of pieced together from Walmart and Radio Shack, if you ask me. And this is a really good representation of that in the sim. That was the first thing I noticed when I sat in the 7A jump seat. I was like, man, there's just a lot of plastic in here. And this texturing job that they have here on the sim is pretty darn good. This is the Horizon 789, by the way, if you're wondering. This is the Horizon Mod 787-900. So, anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. We'll get our nav lights on. We'll get our no logo lights on. Chicks dig logo lights. Hydraulics can stay off right now. We'll arm the emergency exit lights. And we got to turn the power to the door on, which is up here. That's going to come on right there. Everything else can stay in the off position. Packs are off. And everything looks pretty good. It's all pretty much automatic. As somebody said in the Discord, the Plastic Princess. I absolutely love it. Great name. What's the new toy, Zach Hamilton? Just hang tight, hang tight. It's coming, my man. We got to get this airplane fired up first before we start looking at toys. So let's come down here, get our pause and knit done. Let's get our airplane loaded up. We'll go pause and knit. GPS position, I believe. Yeah, our last position. I guess that works. And then we're going to go ahead and do KMIA and route request. Now, hopefully those will pull from SimBrief here. Survey says load. Miami to Montego Bay. Are you using cockpit textures, Team Vodka? I don't know. I'm using I don't have the installer either. I'm using this livery that was, I don't know, it came with its own texture set. But look at the textures out here. The textures look pretty darn good on this one. This is way better than before. The wing is still meh, but that's what the 787 wing looks like. But check out that engine view right there. Like, that looks legit. Slats looks much, much better than the other one we flew. But anyway, let's go ahead and finish up our loading process here. We'll execute that. That's us, Miami to Montego Bay. I think they were departing 8 right, so let's go ahead and load that in here. And then I think Aveo's online right now. I think it's on right now. Why, Team Vodka, does yours look different than mine? Does yours look better or worse? We're going to take off 8 right. We're going to be on the Guava transition, and I think it's Ursus. Let me check. Is it Ursus? It is Ursus. Ursus transition off 8 right. We'll execute that. Now if we look at our legs page, you can see us coming down here, baller, mint, rum. Let's go to the next one, all the way down. And that has our whole route, except we need to pick up the arrival for Montego Bay. So we'll go arrivals. We'll go back to the index. Yours looks better? No way, dude. Mine looks better than yours, Team Vodka. 9, 8 right's too far. Well, we're not going to depart. No, 9 is too far. 8 right's an easy taxi. Off Montego Bay approaches. We're going to land on. Is it 7? The RNAV 7. I'm trying to remember. 7 or 25. Let me look at Navigraph real quick. Taxi, airports. I always forget on Sangster. There's one runway that I've only landed on one runway down there my whole life. Not to say that they don't land the other way. It's just it's always been 7. Yeah, I've always landed on 7. So we'll do the RNAV 7 on the Lennar 7, and we're coming off of the Inari transition. I need the enhanced 7.8. Well, he's on the 7.8.8. You're on the 7.8.8, aren't you, Vodka? We'll take the Inari transition, and for the vectors, for the approach, RMP, we want to take it from Bimba will be the full approach. The Lennar is the arc. That takes us all the way down, though. So we're going to leave it. We're going to just leave it there, because I don't think, yeah, we're going to leave it from the final approach fix. We'll execute that. We'll execute that. That looks good. All right, our route is in the box. Let's go ahead and go back to our index page. And actually, before we do that, let's go back to our knit ref. We'll leave it there. Let's fire up the APU and get some air on in here, because it's probably hot in Miami. Go ahead and go here. Spool it up. I don't think it works with this livery, though, Team Vodka, because this livery has its own texture set. Yeah, Captain McGee, all the 7.8 options are freaking ridiculous, man. There's like the 7.8.8 from Kuro, the Headwind or Horizon, this one, and then there's the default 1000, right? So there's 3 787s, and they all have mods, and they all suck because it's a 787. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see here. 788 cockpit mod. I just want to look for my own custom cockpit textures. Oh, heck no, Team Vodka. Those are ugly, man. Those don't look real at all. Those don't look real at all. I'm glad I have what I have. The textures that I have represent the real thing very, very closely from what I saw. The ones that I'm looking at you at the Flight Sim TO, it looks way overdone, way too drastic. This looks pretty darn good. This looks pretty clean. We don't have any 330s, though, I know. The metal livery on the 78 goes hard, Mike Jones. If only, if only, if only. All right, we need to fix this, though. I want to load... This is the one thing I always forget. If I go back to the index page, settings, weight and balance, there we go. Set from OFP. There we go. Perfect. It's going to change the CG a little bit here. Perfect. We are loaded up then, so that looks good. So if I go back to NitRef and I can click here, we click here. Why is that invalid entry? Uh-oh. I'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and start boarding too, because we got 300 people to go.
Boarding requested.
Boarding requested, and let's get the bleeds on, or the packs on. Packs are coming on. The overhead in the 7.8 is very sparse, Dale. Very. SimNation, you ordered the Rhino? Good deal. Alright, we have to figure out why our zero fuel is not matching. Probably because there's a separate profile for the headwind, isn't there, that I should have done on SimBrief. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I guarantee you there is a headwind 789 profile. Or is it Horizon? Horizon 787 profile. That's the one thing I forgot. Yep. So that's why our stuff is off a little bit. Max Racing, yeah, I'll show you that real quick. Well, that's 7810. It doesn't have the 789. Alright, screw it. 402, invalid. Let me go back to the index page here. Let's go back to settings, weight and balance. Cargo 312 or 338. CG is 2838 min max, so we're within there. Zero fuel weight is 400,000. I don't have the installer, Team Vodka. I don't have the installer. I couldn't download it. Does not accept input from Airbus pilots. So let me go back here. Let me look at our estimated zero fuel. We gotta change that zero fuel weight a little bit. I'm gonna edit the flight. I had us going at max freight. That's probably screwing us up too, because I wanted to weigh the airplane down a little bit. Let me adjust our weight and balance here. Let me go auto and regenerate this. Thrust said I already imported it, man. It's just out of balance because I don't have a SimBrief profile. Estimated zero fuel weight 361.9. Alright, so now we should have new numbers. So let's send for a new one here. Let's see, now we're going to send for a new one. That gives us that gives us 361.9er. So now, hey, we're in limits. So I screwed it up because I was trying to load maximum freight, and then it was payload limited or zero fuel weight limited, and then we were out of balance for this thing. So that's all it was. I was just trying to take too much weight. I'm only going to take 3,000 extra. Let's take a little extra. Let's take like, what's a reserve? Let's do 8,000. 8,000 reserve. Cost index 75, 350. That all looks good. Thrust limit. We're not derating. We'll go to the takeoff page. We're going to do flaps 10. No derate. CG is 25, which is going to be 5.0 on the trim. So let's pull up the flight control page, which is right here. And we need to set 5.0. That's going to be right on the limit, isn't it? That's going to be right on the nose down limit of 5.0. So that is set in the green. Come back over here. We're taking off a dry runway 8 right, and we got our speeds 33, 39, 47. The last time I did this, it got a little bit finicky, so I'm not even going to touch the takeoff gross weight. We're just going to leave it as is. So perf page is set. Our legs page is ready to go for takeoff on the Guava departure. We'll call for clearance right now. We'll go ahead and go hydraulics to auto. And our fuel tank pumps on. Do we have fuel in the center? We do not. So center tank pumps will stay off. We'll leave those off for now. And now we're pretty much just hanging out. We'll hit the magic barrel ref key. And let's call up for a clearance on Iveo. Just joined, have to rewind, start. See you, student McAllen. All right, man. In 10 years, the Yoke will be a touch controller? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Do I have South Oak Benji? No, I wasn't aware of the South Oak effects on the 789, but that would be pretty sweet if you had them. I know I got them on that 7.4, but I don't have them for the 7.8. All right, let's look at control. Who's on? It's not tower. It's Miami Center on 26325. So we'll come down here to our radio panels. I like to set VHF on 1 and 2, and we'll put transponder on this third one here like so. And the center controller was 26325. So we'll go 26325 in the active. 2632. Why is that invalid? Why is that an invalid radio number? Okay, 26325. That's weird.
Miami Center, Avianca 901 Heavy, looking for clearance to Montego Bay. Have local weather.
Avianca 901, you clear to Montego Bay as filed. Initial climb, maintain 5,000. Expect final flight level 390. 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 3553.
Oh, you have to have the dot?
I cleared to
Really?
Montego Bay as filed. Climb to the expect 5,000. 390 after 10, squawking 3553.
That's
Avianca
lame.
901 Heavy.
Ooh, Team Vodka sounding all professional.
901 Heavy, repair correct. Start push approved. Use caution. There's an HA7787 pushing back into the alley. Expect runway 9er and call for taxi.
Niner?
I expect 9 call for taxi. Avianca 901 Heavy.
I don't want to taxi out to Niner. Let me look at Navigraph real quick. Why are you want to? No one takes off 9 except freight dogs. Miami runway charts, taxi charts, 10-9. No, dude, I'm not going all the way down to 9. You guys can take off 9. 8 right's cooler anyway. Miami Center, good afternoon. American 357 Heavy, like to get our clearance to Montego Bay. We got the weather.
American 357, clear to Montego Bay as filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect 350 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequencies with me. Squawk 3572.
All right, cleared to Montego Bay as filed. 5,000, 350 and 10. 3572 departures with you, and we request an 8 right for departure.
Again, 327, roger. Expect runway 8 right. Push start your discretion. Call for taxi.
Roger that. We'll call for taxi. American 357. Cool. Guava 5, 350 and 10, 3572 on the squawk code. So we'll come back in here. We will squawk 3572. Boom. That's in there. We're staying with him for taxi and push. Now, TCAS. Oh, that's TCAS. We got to turn you on. Forgot. Up here. We'll put it in altitude reporting off. We'll just put it in XPDR mode for right now. And then up on the glare shield, we will set 5,000 feet for our initial climb. 5,000 is set. And we don't really need a heading, but I will spin in approximately runway heading, which is going to be about 080. We'll spin that puppy around. And for speeds, I'm going to just bug up right to 250 because we ain't waiting around. All right, well, we're going to be LNAV off the ground. Oh, we need a flight director. LNAV, VNAV off the ground. Boarding completed. All right, it's almost time. Oh, he's wanting special treatment. No, everyone claims they all love realism. No one taxis, no one goes to runway 9. Unless you're a freight dog coming out of that south cargo, you're going to 8 right. All right, we'll get our window heats on. We'll get our beacon light on.
Have a great day.
Seatbelt sounds are coming on. And we're about ready to go, chat. We are about ready to go. Let's go ahead and request
American
pushback and departure.
492, Miami altimeter 3004.
3004
A320 pilot says you don't need it, and the real thing is just a bug. Ah, okay, that makes much more sense. I was gonna say if you have to put the dot in the real thing, I would be very. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It is a Boeing. You still have to sync your heading bug manually, but most of the newer radio stacks, even in the 320s, you don't have to put the dot. You just put 4 digits and you're good to go. That's what makes it so quick. All right, so here we go, chat. The moment you have been waiting for, or at least I have been waiting for.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Is something like this. You will not see my Boeing TCA Yoke in front of me. We have the Bruner CLS-2 Mark II NG, I believe. It's the smaller version.
Heavy, spot 22 ready for taxi.
They have one that is a little bit longer, but it's like it was. I don't know. For getting my feet wet in force feedback, I figured this would be a good place to start. Now, the last time I had force feedback, it was what was like the Sidewinder. You guys remember the Sidewinder joystick? I don't know why force feedback has not been a thing as of late. Now, there's been some like smaller, very small companies and devs like making side sticks and stuff, which is pretty cool. But nothing for Yokes other than 2 companies, Bruner and then one other one I forget the name of, but it didn't have very good reviews that I could gather. So I've been eyeing this for a long time, and I've heard multiple reviews, both positive and negative, when it came to the Bruner. But I couldn't wait any longer. I legit just could not wait any longer. So, or read any more threads. I've read pretty much every comment there was on the internet, and I said, you know what, I just got to figure it out for myself. So I picked one up. This is not a sponsorship. I purchased this myself. This one I think it's expensive. It's like $1,200, I think, or like $1,400 US dollars. So it's not cheap. But in my quest for realism, I had to investigate. So the Yoke was $1,500. Yeah, I looked at Yoko's too. We're gonna go nose right, tail left.
Release parking brakes.
Brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
But yeah, so that's what it is. That's what we got, and I will talk about it in cruise about profiles and stuff. But my initial reactions flying around with this, now that I'm finally getting my profiles synced up and getting it properly set up, it really makes the sim come to life. And the reason I say that is because you no longer are holding a dead fish. Like the Airbus, the side stick, it's a dead fish, even in the real thing, because there's no force feedback. It always feels the same. Yoke-driven airplanes, there's always some type of feedback. And while the TCA Boeing Yoke is next level in its pendular design, I still highly recommend that because it is pendular and it's game changing when you have that, when you get to feel that axis. So that is awesome. But at the end of the day, you're still flying a dead fish. You're holding on to a dead fish there. So this immediately changed that for me. And I will talk in length about like how I set it up, and there are negatives to this. We'll get to that in cruise. I don't want to get down the rabbit hole and get on a good train of thought and then have to start engines and then taxi out. So we're going to come back to this in cruise, but out of the gate, I got to say I'm very happy with it. I was in the Discord till like almost 10 p.m. last night. There was a couple of y'all in there. I was working on profiles, and I will say we have one caution. This could end up being the shortest stream on record because the profile that I've been making for the 787, I had a bug where when I engaged the autopilot, it would induce basically an aileron hardover, and it was unrecoverable, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think I fixed the problem, but
Roger, Director
if we end up getting that problem on takeoff, or when it's only when the autopilot's engaged in LNAV or in LNAV mode. So if we go autopilot on LNAV and we induce an aileron hardover, I'll have to disconnect everything. We'll just come back, declare an emergency land, and then I'm going to Alt F4 the stream and go back into my programming rabbit hole. But
Set parking brakes.
fingers crossed, everything pans out. We'll see. But we're going to talk all about it. I want to tell you all about it. Here's the thing. And I don't, like I said, it's not a sponsor plug, and I don't think, you have to have it to fly. No. But there are positives and negatives, and I also need more time with it before I say, oh yeah, this is 100%, you should spend your hard-earned money on picking this up, because I want to make sure I put it through its paces first. And I've been flying with it for 2 days now, until really, really late in the evening. So I got a lot to say, but I have a ton more to learn and a ton more to go over. So we'll save that part for the cruise. But I will say, it's pretty epic. One little tidbit I'll give you is I was flying the TBM, and when I brought the prop out of feather, I could feel the propeller coming out of feather in the yoke with the vibration. So like as it started to turn over and then as it accelerated, I could feel that in the yoke. So pretty cool, no doubt about that. But there are some drawbacks, and I want to make sure I hit on those before everyone freaks out. Like, well, I got to go spend my hard-earned money on it, because it's not as plug-and-play as one might think. But look how sweet the 7.8 looks. I got to say, I'm a 350 fan.
Left is clear.
The 787 is kind of growing on me right now. This looks awesome. All right, we're clear. He's right underneath the packs. So look at that engine model. Let's go ahead and fire him up. To Aviator, it is the Bruner CLS2 NG, so it's the shorter version one. It doesn't have the PFD. As you can see, there's two versions. There's one that has like a little PFD in the yoke, and then there's one that doesn't. I obviously have the one that doesn't. So here we go. Let's fire it up. Let's see what these sounds are like here. There are some custom sounds with this mod apparently, so let's go ahead and figure it out. Beacon's on, everything's on. Let's go ahead and mute them.
Clear to start engines.
All right, we're going to start number 2 first. Move the start switch to start, and I think we can just go right into here, right? We don't have to wait. I am using the Throttletek Boeing throttle. I love it for the 7.8. Yeah, auto start on the 7.8, that's what I think, Canadian. You just hit the start switch and move the fuel lever on. Flying with Ricky, thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. Appreciate you. I've looked at that yoke for years, never pulled the trigger. I'm excited to hear your review. Fly with Rookie. Hey, man, appreciate your super chat. I'm really going to try to do a good service in giving you a full rundown of how I feel about it so far. That way, I mean, because it's an investment. I know you definitely have invested in your sim, and I know a lot of you on the chat do the same thing. We all invest in our simulators. So I want to make sure I give it a full rundown, positive, negatives, and everything in between. Before anyone jumps out and starts spending their hard-earned money on it, especially when you start getting it over things over $1,000. So let's go ahead and crank number 1. Is the stream all right for you? Because OBS is saying I've dropped some frames, and I might just restart it. How's it been for y'all as far as looking at the image quality? XP, 47 months? 47 months XP? That's like 15 years. Appreciate the support, man. Now I feel bad about my dead fish. Oh, XP. Thanks for the support, man. Look, I'm just trying to be real, y'all. I love the TCA Boeing yoke. as much of a dead fish as it is phenomenal in what it does. The TCA Boeing yoke is single-handedly as much of a game changer, like going to pendular design from non-pendular. That's kind of what force feedback is. Like, it's going from TCA, which is still really good, to force feedback. It's almost that same generational leap that you would go from a traditional push-pull yoke, maybe like the Honeycomb Alpha, or say a Cytec, you know, going to the pendular design. That is a big leap. Going from a pendular to force feedback is also a pretty big leap. Dead fish becoming the new world 2024. Random sound hitches. Interesting, BKG, Brian. Hopefully it's not my microphone. That almost sounds like... Hold on, let me adjust my mic. My USB for my mic is getting a little loose. I'm concerned. We're doing flaps 10. Is there any flap sounds in this thing? Barely. I think that's flaps 10. That's flaps 10. That's good. All right, finish up our overhead. Auto. That's all good. Trim is up. Why is TCAS off? TARA. We are clear. Let's do a flight control check. Oh yeah, see, I can tell my yoke is on now. Like we're running an airplane. Here we go. Let's do full right, full left. Flight controls are checked. That looks good. We'll go ahead and get them off the page. Actually, let's go ahead. I think XP had this problem. Hydraulics, yeah, we got all the hydraulics on. So, see, I learned from XP72. I think he had one stream where like he had some hydraulic bug. All right, we are ready to taxi. I'll zoom in this thing here. We'll put you in. Why are you in a weird mode there? What do I do with my PFD here? Hold on. Why does this look different? Weather, traffic. This is range. I feel like my PFD is all wonky looking. We'll deal with it later. ICAS. That's the lower MFD. No, I don't want that. Oh, dang it. I guess we should do the checklist. Let's go ahead and run through that. That's all done. Checklist complete. Before taxi, anti-ice, recall, auto brake, RTO, flight controls, check ground equipment, APU. We'll shut that off. APU is off. It's always good to run through a checklist too. Alright, before takeoff, flaps, that leaves us at the... That's it for checklist. So we can go back to CDU there. And we'll put that back up. On top screen, ICAS switch button. No, I like this. It's just this one here. I want to change this. Hold on. I want to change this PFD or zoom it in or something. I guess you can't. I like this the way it is. I just wanted to change this down here, this lower one. ICAS, engine, MFD, whatever. Switch ICAS to FO side. No, I don't want to do that. I want to keep this one big. Oh, I can't change this? You can't change this? Oh, that's lame. Alright. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Number 22567 Heavy, runway 9, line up and wait.
Line up, runway
Heavy Vanguard 901, heavy radar contact. Climb maintain flight level 390.
Climb maintain 390, Avianca 901 heavy.
Miami American 357 Heavy, ready taxi.
American 357 Heavy, runway 8 right, taxi via Papa.
8 right, taxi via Papa, American 357 Heavy. Alright, 8 right via Papa. That's going to be the inner all the way out. So, brakes released. Taxi light is coming on.
Headline Pro 2256, on off to Baller. Wind calm, runway 9 are clear for takeoff.
Click the ICAS arrow, make the ND full size. Yeah, but I want to keep this page. I want to keep this like this so I can see it. I just wanted to change this out. Once we get to the runway, I'll zoom it out and then put traffic on. Actually, I already saw a guy take off right there, though. Terrain, I don't need terrain on. Weather radar? I guess we don't need that. We'll leave it on terrain. Yeah, I don't want to switch it to his side. I like seeing my stuff right here. Makes me feel like an Airbus pilot. Vacuum sounds. Well, apparently these are edited sounds. But they're pretty meh. I will say that. 350 has really complex Medu, whatever it's called. It's really nice. A lot of extra visual noise. Any knobs on the left? Ooh. Oh, you know what? Outboard display, work table, no. I think it would be... No, that's ND. It would have to be PFD. This is your ND. This is your PFD. I need like a PFD adjustment. Like, why can't I put this into like normal or zoom my PFD in?
Pro 56 Heavy, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 370.
Oh well. We'll take Papa, which is the inner. To 8 right. This is the Horizon mod for the default 7.8, correct. We're going to need a little bit more juice lights. Alright, so Papa is actually one to the right, so we got to come right here. This is the Bruner yoke with force feedback. Correct. It's the only PFD option? Surely not in the real airplane. Stuck at 10 miles? There's got to be a way to change it. We're going to figure it out on the way down there. We'll figure it out on the way down there. Papa is this one, so yeah, we're going to slant. Little jaunt to the right here.
Miami Center, off the ground, November 9213 and 4.
Number 9213 uniform, roger, taxi.
Kyle, no, I just changed it back to the cross. Because I'm pretty sure American runs the dual Q flight director on the 7.8. If I remember from when I was jumping.
Mike,
oh.
Eagle X12097, in taxiway, I'm ready to...
You're giving me VATSIM flashbacks, dude. You gave me VATSIM nightmares with that mic. Vio, you ever thought about becoming a pilot when you're older? Allegedly, sometimes. We're actually pretty light. I was hoping we'd be a little heavier, but we're rolling at idle here pretty good. Rip ears. Ears have been ripped. Now, one thing that I did do on my practice takeoff, I hit the tail, so we're going to make sure we don't do that again. We're going to adopt the 777-300, the long one, technique where you just kind of pull back and just let it fly off the ground, nice and easy. I'm getting 777 tips. Two of my closest friends from flight school are on the 777 now. One of them's been on it for about a month. The other one just passed his type. Mic check 25 out of 5. Key 6. Thanks for the $2 super chat, man. Surely you can't be serious. Key 6. Appreciate the support, man. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Surely, are we going to hit this with our wing? I feel like pretty darn close to that wingtip there. That's why you got to stay on the center line. I don't know. Flying this 7.8 though, and like just messing around with it and profiles and stuff, it's really making me want that 777, a proper long hauler. I mean this is cool and all, but at the end of the day, it all reeks of a Zobo. The one airplane that's default that I've really been enjoying a ton. Now I've never streamed it, but it's an Adobo airplane. But that CJ4 Proline 21. It's one of the few default airplanes that I have just absolutely been in love with. I've been flying that one a lot off stream since I got my home PC set up now. But like as cool as this 7.8 is, I mean it's still a lot of default smells. MEO the wingtip. Alright, so this is a real life hazard right here because there's about 76 hold short lines here. So you've got to stop here. Because in real life, we briefed this in taxi out. If you look, so you've got a hold short line for, what is that? The other runway, and then you've got a hold short right for 8 right. So you have to stop early. You can't just taxi up to it. So you wait here for clearance normally. Oh, wow, look at that with the sun coming off there. Oh, yeah, that is juicy. All right, we're going to set it up for takeoff this direction. So our camera is set for fly with. We're ready to go. Flaps 10. I think we're ready to get out of here. Let's do this. Oh, my goodness. Cosmic Doubloon just dropped 20 plus 10 gifted memberships. Cosmic Doubloon just dropped a massive membership dono to the channel. Cosmic, my man, it's been a while. Hope you're well. Thank you for that massive.
Heavy, when ready, RNAV 2 baller, windcom, runway 8 right, clear for takeoff.
RNAV 8 right. RNAV baller 8 right, clear for takeoff. American 357 heavy. Cosmic, that is too kind, my man. I appreciate you. If you pick one up from Cosmic, make sure you say thank you. Very, very kind of you, man. Appreciate the support. 30 gifts will pay you for the DCS F4 Phantom. Yes, yes, yes. DCS F4 Phantom stream coming up. Hold short for the hold short line. Exactly, yeah. But we'll take it all the way to, well, I don't know. We'll try a more than 90 lineup here. We'll test my skills, which are not very many. Green chat is non-negotiable. Appreciate you, Cosmic. Too kind of you, man. F4 Phantom streams coming right up. Been craving some DCS content, Andre? It'll be coming soon, man. Don't you worry.
Miami Center, Allegiant 229 at Fort Lauderdale IFR to Asheville.
All right.
This is 229, stand by.
That's armed. LNAV, VNAV, Toga. Wow, that was a terrible lineup. We're not even going to check it out on the outside view. Well, we are cleared for takeoff. Are you guys ready? Close enough for government work.
Allegiant 229.
Spool them up.
Clear to Asheville. Free speed 2 departure, steamy transition as filed. maintain 4,000. Expect 340, 10 minutes after departure.
Toga.
Squawk 3653.
Now we're going to be clear
Thrust ref,
to
Toga,
Asheville,
Toga.
52,
Airspeed's alive.
This file. 340 and 10. Departure is with you. And
They do not stress that.
53, Allegiant 29.
229,
That's
expect correct.
check.
Stop push to zero scratch. Expect 10 left for departure. Call for
B1.
10 left will copper taxi Allegiant to 29.
Nice and easy on the rotation. Nice and easy. Positive rate. Gear up. Fly with. A little bit of an over rotation there.
American 357 Heavy, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 350.
Come and maintain 350, American 357 Heavy. is set. Thrust ref, LNAV, VNAV speed. Oh. A little trim down here. Oh man, I wanted to see this downtown Miami view though. This is the hard part, is I want to hand fly. Oh yeah, but it's feeling good now. This is like, this feels pretty darn good. I don't know what to do. I want to look outside. Flaps 5. Ooh, a little bit of an engine wobble right there. That is pretty juicy. A little bit of an engine wobble. Let's go ahead and clean it up. Flaps 1. Wow. Nice wing flex. Jeez, I need to just turn the autopilot on. I need to turn the autopilot on, but this will hand flat out here. Let's do a little bit. One more turn outside view. This is getting me hyped for the Bluebird 7.5 out of here. We'll go Ton Cotton, American bare metal. Alright, we're going to trim it down. Now the moment of truth will be when we engage the autopilot. Right now, so this profile, have it kind of spring back. Oh, it just feels so good. Really liking it right now. But I want to hold my breath until I actually engage the autopilot. So the one thing that I'm going to say a lot of things, not just one thing, but one of the things I'm going to be saying today a lot is that the twitchiness that you get in almost all the default airplanes and a lot of the ones that aren't really flight modeled very well. Even the most default airplanes, that twitchiness is pretty much eliminated with force feedback. And you can see here, I mean, I'm flying it with 2 fingers, but it's very much alive. It's just, I can feel that the airplane it's alive. The engines are on, there's motion. Oh, there's 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and lower the nose. We'll continue to accelerate. Let's just keep hand flying it, since we've already missed almost all the juice views here. Let's keep hand flying it. There goes Miami. We'll see you later. Let's just stay inside for a little bit. Let's get some more trim in there. Now what I wanted to do, I want to go back to Systems, Flight Control. I kind of want to monitor the flight control page with this profile on, because I'm still tweaking the force feedback. So it kind of helps me when I look at the flight controls in flight. Ginar, I know that I hear that that phasing and that sound. I know what you're talking about. We'll stop switching. All right, we'll zoom you out a little bit more. Gotta lower the nose even more here. I guess I'll fly with like a real 7.8 Captain, 2 hands. Run my trim now. So I got my trim bound to this top little hat switch. It's not a hat switch, it's just a 2-position trim switch. Moment of truth, chat. Autopilot on. Thrust ref, LNAV, VNAV speed. She's holding. I think I might have fixed the issue. Might have fixed it. Fingers are crossed. Let me turn this down a little bit. I love that reflection of that wing light on that chrome engine lip there. We're at a 10. Let's clean up the rest of the airplane. Let's get our lights off, turn off lights, taxis, and strobe. Wing lights coming off, logos coming off. We're just nav beacon. Oop. Strobe should stay on. We'll put you in auto. I think it's doing all right. We're on our way. Rocking the cabin to sleep on the climb? Yes.
American 68, taxi runway
Out of 18, standard set. All right.
It's right by November.
I think we're good to go.
American 91 Heavy, switching to go 1 to 1.
All right, over to Unicom for Avianca 901. Thanks for coming on today. See you.
All right, I think we're holding. Cool, let's come down here. Let's run a quick little checklist. Normal after takeoff. That's good. What's after that? That just leaves us at the descent, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. I'll just go CDU page.
Number 208 Alpha Lima, Roger. Trying to right
systems on. I'll put flight control. Nah. We'll just go like that. Old school. Alright. Thrust ref, LNAV, VNAV speed. We're climbing out. Everything looks good. I'm going to hide the cams for now. Nope, Rex, we're on Iveo. Iveo, man. We are on Iveo. I'm going to turn you down. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let me catch back up with the chat here. Oh, why are we rolling? Hold on. Okay, we're just turning. That made me nervous. Like I said, I had basically an aileron hardover issue, but hopefully we've got it fixed. All right. My theory is you should always hand fly with your fingertips, or else she's not in trim. Scotty, too. That is a great point. Now, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and let's start talking about this yoke on the way out here. A couple things I want to hit on, or one thing now, another thing, because of just reminded me on takeoff. So, let's talk about some, let's say negatives, but this could be a negative, something that I personally wish was a little bit different. Now, the size of the yoke itself is smaller than I anticipated. It's been so long since I've been in a 172 or any type of piston airplane.
Number 2256, which you come.
But it's probably about 90% size of a real 172 yoke. So it is, I think. I don't think it's like a full-size 172 yoke. Now, in comparison to the TCA Boeing yoke, which the TCA Boeing yoke is supposed to be a 1-to-1 of the 787, it's definitely smaller. And where it's smaller, specifically, is like right here. So the gap between the top of the yoke and the side here. Now, it's not really an issue. I'm just going to turn that all the way down. It's not really an issue for grabbing the yoke, but where it also is a little bit smaller is like the side. So you see from here to here, this is a pretty short grip. So when I have it in my hand, and my hands they're pretty, I'd say they're normal size, but they're probably a little bit on the larger size. It can be a little bit challenging to reach the trim button on top of the yoke here. So if you remember on the 7.8 yoke, the trim my thumb was up, or if you have it, it's up and down. This trim is on top of the yoke. So the short grip here can make it a little bit challenging if you're really fighting, if you're out of trim and say you're doing stalls or recovering. It can make it challenging to kind of grip and reach that trim knob. You might see me, I don't know if you can see it, but I also have my Bravo trim wheel over here that I'll still use, even though it's not necessarily realistic for like a 787, but it's pretty neat to move the trim wheel and then feel the forces come off the yoke. So I kind of run that at the same. But yeah, that's definitely one of the criticisms I have of this yoke is this size right here. While it's great, it's a perfect size to grab, the trim on top, that button can be a little bit challenging to manipulate if you have larger hands. But yeah, that was one thing I noticed there on a takeoff, and a couple takeoffs I've done in the 7.8 is when you're actively really trimming, you gotta, I don't know, maybe I just have to learn to adjust my grip. Made for those tiny Burger King hands. Jeez, Tech. I had the PFC beach yoke and complained of its small size until I sat in the real plane. PFC used a real... yes. Okay, Chris, so precision flight controls, I've used them as well. And I used PFC in our schoolhouse a long, long time ago. We used to have precision flight controls, a full-blown sim. And now I might be wrong on saying it's small. I'm saying it's smaller than the TCA Boeing yoke for sure, so it takes some adjusting to get used to. I'm like, oh, that's much smaller than I remember. But it's definitely not a game-breaking issue or anything like that. Another thing I'll hit on is if you look at the buttons, I have a POV hat on this side, which can be an axis or a button, and it clicks down. I use that to switch views. And then on top, I have the rocker trim. I have 2 buttons, and then I have 1 button on the inside here, which would be kind of like which would be a push-to-talk, like a mic push-to-talk button. And that's it. So the TCA Boeing, you have, let me count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you've got 8 or 9 or 10 buttons plus POV hats on the TCA Boeing yoke. So if you use all of those binds on your TCA Boeing, you're going to have to figure out what's the most important to you, because on this Bruner version, you only have 1, 2, 3 buttons, a trim rocker, and then a POV switch over here with a push button. Gustavo's comment on V1 going this size. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is why we can't have nice things. What? If I have a Thrustmaster yoke, what would be the reason to upgrade? Ted Johnson, if you want to bring your sim to life, that would be the reason. Now, I've said it earlier when we were on the ground there, the TCA Boeing is great. I love it. But at the end of the day, it's like having a dead fish in your hand. So I'll touch on that more here once we level. We got 2,000 feet to level off. Let's make sure everything levels. I got to be ready to take control in case we go into a nosedive, and then that'll lead us into the conversation of why I was having this aileron hardover issue. That'll hit on another what I would call a negative on this, and then we'll start getting into some positives. Already flown with Bruner with the Lear. Fractality, you know it. That was the first profile I set up. With the Lear, and it actually works quite well with the Lear, even though I don't have a lot of buttons, because I use the push button and the trim hat to work like the real pitch barrel knob, which I found out how it works in the real airplane, and it's pretty intuitive. I'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, Fractality, the first profile I set up was the Lear, and I'm going to uplink it to the cloud. So things about profiles is you can uplink them to the Bruner cloud, and everybody can share the profile, and you can edit other people's profiles and whatnot. But I want to make sure I get it done really well before I uplink it. I wonder if there's a way to mount this on an NLR seat. I don't know if I would, Rookie. I'll show you. I'll tell you how I mounted it here in just a minute. All right, it leveled off though. We leveled off, nice and smooth. I think we should go a little bit faster than 80 Mach. We're in a 787. That's unacceptable. Let's go to progress page. Nope. Nav? VNav? Okay, 80. Where does one find the cost index? Would it be in the init? Probably. Approach ref. Route page. Thought you could change the cost index, but I guess you just have to change the Mach. Let's do 8. Well, should do 8.4 at this altitude? No. No, no, no. Erase. Yeah, she'll do 8.4.
What happened with Renee? It's right.
8.4 Mach, 35,000 feet. Heck yeah. Let's see what else it can do. Let's just go bump it up. Let's try 8.5. 8.5 Mach is what we want. 8.8 is max. Hey Cap, just watched the Fokker stream. Man, it looks good. Is the flight model as good as 146? Oh, Rusty, it's as good, if not better. I don't know how it can be better, but the Just Flight Fokker F-28 and BAE 146, great flight models, two of the best in the sim. Rusty, did you see the part in the stream in the replay where I showed the compression of the struts separately, independent of themselves? Just phenomenal flight model. Absolutely phenomenal. I might have to clip it and post it as a short since YouTube wants to do shorts, nothing but shorts now. Is that driving anyone else crazy? Like when I get on YouTube, I just have shorts suggestions everywhere.
American 357, switch Unico Monte to
122.8, have a good day. American 357, thanks for coming on for the ATC. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going over to 122.8. Let's see if I can put this in properly. 122.8. There we go. Oh, so you put it in. Oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe you put it in standby and then have to click it over. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're on 122.8 now. That's good. Let's let them roam. Seatbelt signs off. And now let's talk more Yoke stuff. Oh, wow. Does this work? Wait a second. Whoa, I had no idea this page worked. Okay, 787 just became my new favorite sim airplane. Nah, I don't know, not yet. Oh gosh, we're in a turn. It scared me. All right, now I want to know, for the 787 aficionados, does the 787 Yoke move in flight with the autopilot on? I don't recall when I was in the jump seat last time, but does this Yoke physically move in the cockpit when the airplane is on autopilot? Because I can adjust this with profiles. So let's get into profiles. We'll talk more about it. Let's just leave the Yoke cam up. We'll talk about it here. But if someone that knows the 7.8, if you can let me know that'd be great, because I'm kind of trying to figure that out. All right. One of the biggest, I say it's probably the biggest drawback I have to the Bruner is that it is not a plug and play. There's my Italian. I'm talking with my hand. I didn't realize you could see me. Roberto, good to see you, man. Yes, it does move. Okay, so good to know, Roberto. I will have to adjust my profile to work accordingly. I wasn't sure it being fly-by-wire if the Yokes would move with the autopilot on, but I appreciate you. Roberto, Throttletek himself's in the house. Hey, while Roberto's here, pick yourself up a 737NG Throttletek Quadrant. I'm using it on the 7.8. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait for the 7.6 one. It's going to be fire. Flew the Level D a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. Roberto, nice, man. I'll appreciate the input. That'll help me out here while I'm wake the profile. In theory, it shouldn't, since it's fly-by-wire, but 748 Gen X sounds. Gustavo says, I told you. Gustavo, look, a good pilot, we trust but verify, right? And I trusted you, but I also had to verify. All right, so the biggest drawback, let's get into that, with the Bruner that I have, is that it's not plug and play. And what I mean by plug and play, if you're unfamiliar with the term, basically you plug it in and it reads everything it needs to do, and all you have to do is kind of configure bindings. It's not how it works. So in order to have the yoke respond accordingly to the sim, you have to run it through a program called CLS to Sim. It's a software program that, unless you're using it professionally, you get a license with it when you buy the yoke, and you can log in and download the software and run the software with your yoke. So you have to run the yoke through a third-party software program to connect into the sim. Now, I will say that it is very easy to get it all installed. It's very simple. It's a self-installer. You click what sims. I installed it for X-Plane, DCS, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. You just click which ones you want to install. I clicked all three. Boom, it goes through separate installations, and with my very limited technological background, I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. So once you get the software CLS to Sim installed, then that drawback kind of hits you. The CLS to Sim software, it's pretty powerful in what it can do, especially in terms of Microsoft Flight Simulator, with reading effects on the ground, and turbulence effects, and surface conditions, and that bumping you feel the bumps in the pavement or the dirt, depending on what surface you're on. So it is pretty complex and pretty powerful software, but with that comes a definite learning curve. Now, there's a video on YouTube. Someone did about a 34-minute video, and I've watched it probably 3 times, kind of jumping around, trying to figure out parts that I want, and it's very basic, and it still only really scratches the surface. With that said, though, if you can kind of get a default-ish profile, and you can say, hey, I want a little bit of force. You can adjust how much force you want on the yoke, and you can have it dynamic with indicated airspeed or true airspeed, and then leave it at that, and it will fly and work just fine. But to take full advantage of the yoke, I think you really need to spend some time in building a quality profile. Now, that takes some time, and it takes some trial and error, but the silver lining to all this is the profiles that you create, if you so wish, you can upload them to what's called the profile cloud. And there is, once you're registered, you can access the profile cloud for Bruner, and you can see other people's profiles that have been uplinked. I've uplinked this profile right now. This is a version 2 of my 787 profile, which I think I'm still going to tweak a little bit more. Now that we know that the yoke moves with the autopilot on, I'm going to adjust the profile so my yoke will move. So what you can do is you can have your physical yoke move with the autopilot on, kind of like in a GA aircraft, or you can have it remain stationary, traditional fly-by-wire stuff, which is what I have set up. That's why you don't see my yoke moving when the airplane is turning, because I have that setting off on this profile, but I can go in and tweak that and then have it work. And then I'll probably change a revision. So the silver lining is you can download other people's profiles. Some of them are good. It's hard to tell which ones are good and which ones aren't really that good. There's a couple for the 7.3 already. I think there's a certified one from Bruner themselves for the PMDG 737-800. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm kind of curious to see what that profile feels like with the 738, because you could get it to mimic hydraulic assistance. So for instance, if you're flying the 738, everything's fine and dandy. You have your normal flight control pressures with your basically hydraulically boosted flight controls. But if you were to have a hydraulic failure in the sim, you can mimic that, so your yoke will read that you've lost that hydraulic reference, and now your yoke is going to be much harder to manipulate, replicating, direct flight control movement without hydraulics. So it's pretty cool stuff, but like I said, there is a learning curve, and that is a definite drawback in my opinion, because it does take some time. Now, if you just want to fly the 787 around, you can pick one up and just go download my profile that I made, and you're good to go, because that one's already up there. If you like it or not, you can always, and you could download, for instance, my 787 profile, and then if you don't like it, or maybe you want less force or more force, you can edit it yourself, and then you can either re-upload it, or you can just keep it to yourself, whatever you want to do. So there is some silver lining to the whole build your profile thing. Roberto says, have to take something into account. The 7.8 is not like regular Boeings or the Embraer. is like flying a Cadillac, very soft and smooth, very elegant feeling. That is the fly-by-wire. Okay, Roberto, so I think I've got that down. I'm probably going to make it a little bit softer now that you mentioned that. So I think the roll feels really good. I have a nice, consistent pressure on the yoke that I'm kind of emulating that fly-by-wire, but I'm probably going to soften it up and upload a version 3 or a revision 3 of this specific profile on the yoke. But I will tell you, let's get into some positives now. You know, if you're okay with accepting the profiling, or maybe you're good at tweaking software, maybe you're familiar with CLS to Sim. I was not familiar with it at all. If you're familiar with that stuff, and that's not a drawback to you, then I think you're really going to enjoy it, because you can really tweak the yoke to do what you want it to do. Now, let's get into some of the positives and the hypes. Now, the first one that I already hit on the ground is you no longer have a dead fish. When I put my hands on the yoke right now, there's like a slight, I don't want to say vibration, but there's a feeling that there is something there. It's like almost like a buzz, like a consistent buzz, but very ever so slightly. You can tell that there's power to it, and it's very stiff. Now, if I override it, I'll turn the autopilot off and it'll snap off, which maybe we'll do that for landing, so I can show you how the disengage function works pretty cool. But you no longer have that feeling that you're just flying, like grabbing a dead fish. I don't know how else to explain it. Another really cool feature is the stick shaker. So speaking of the Learjet, you guys know I love flying the Learjet around. I'm working on a really detailed Learjet profile. If you have the Bruner already and you want a Lear profile, I am really trying to work hard. I'm talking to some other Lear 35 pilots about how it flies to really make an accurate profile. But what I want to hit on is the stick shaker. So if you guys remember my stream the other day, we were landing in Haiti. And I got just a tad too slow in the flare, and the shaker went off, right? We saw the light go off, and you heard a brrr, and then we touched down. Pretty much a non-event when I was flying with my TCA yoke. I was flying with this yoke, making my profile. I came in, the shaker went off, and I about jumped out of my chair. So the shaker, you can, depending on the profile, you can set up the airplane to have a stick shaker or not. The stick shaker, I haven't felt one go off in my hands in real life in over a decade. But the second I felt this one go off, it immediately brought me back to that, oh crap, lower the nose. And I instinctively, in the flare with the Lear, jerked the yoke, or like pushed the yoke forward a little bit, because that's just how, you get the shaker, lower that AOA. And I planted my Lear 35 nice and firm. So I came in too slow on my Lear. So the stick shaker effect is awesome. If you are investing in your sim, maybe you're training to become a real world pilot, and you have the money to invest it. I mean, you can get some flight time. You can do a couple lessons for the price of a Bruner yoke. There's no doubt about it. But if you are really, maybe you have plans to get your PPL, or maybe you already have your private and you're going to do some more training down the line, and you have the financial backing to invest further in your sim, that aspect alone, being able to react to a stick shaker, and then not only are you reacting to that stick shaker, but you have the aerodynamic forces will be applied. So when you're slow, for instance, doing slow flight and stalls in the Lear, when I was making my Lear profile, stall, airplane breaks over, and it's very free on the controls because we're at a very low speed. I was basically stalling the airplane at a low indicator, which is not, you don't always stall it. It's not speed related, it's AOA related, right? But anyway, it was slow speed. But in the recovery, as the airplane was pitched down, the yoke started to become heavier, and I started to feel that wind resistance as I started accelerating above 200 knots, 250 knots. And now I'm fighting the aerodynamic forces and running the trim, trying to get the airplane back in trim and recover. So it is pretty eye-opening as far as bringing life to the airplane that you're flying. It really, truly does just that. I cannot stress enough how much more alive your airplane feels when you're getting that tactile feedback back, not only from just, control forces, but stick shakers, buffeting effects. You can set it up to react off of turbulence, and this is more, now we're getting into the advanced profiling. I am not too comfortable with that yet, but there are effects like turbulence, the ground effects, which I've already kind of got into, propeller effects. I talked to this one about the propeller. So I downloaded a TBM profile. You guys know I love the TBM, and I didn't tweak it at all. I just used somebody else's profile to see what it was like. And when I started up the TBM, I had the propeller in feather. As I brought the propeller out of the feather position, you could feel the yoke reacting to the propeller coming out of that feather, and you get that vibration. And then as it went fully forward and in its normal position, you just felt the normal engine vibration on the yoke. But torque, yeah, P factor, exactly, Team Vodka. Real quick, I wanted to get back to Roberto. He said something about his products. You can rotate the beast with 2 fingers on the yoke, Roberto? Really? All right, Roberto. Well, I appreciate the info. I'm going to continue to tweak this profile, and I'm going to try to make it do just that. Very elegant, the flyby-bar of the 7.8. What did you say about PMDG here? By the way, V1, we are getting verified our throttle soon by PMDG. They have reached out to us. My guess is compatibility will be easier. Oh my goodness. Roberto, Throttletek throttles getting certified by PMDG. I can't wait, Roberto. I really, I'm super excited for you. You know, ever since we got in communication way back for the Airbus Flightbox V3, man, I've really appreciate the support you've shown on the channel, and I know there's been additional Throttletek users from the channel and that have been loving their Throttleteks as well. So I appreciate you, Roberto, and that's very exciting news with PMDG. I hope maybe, well, you have a 7.4 throttle already, right? So maybe talk about next level. 777 throttle when? Yeah, PMDG triple's dropping. Well, I hope to fly that with my 7.6 throttle and the Bluebird 7.5. Does it have interaction with high winds? Scotty 2, yes. So that kind of goes in with the winds and the turbulence. The yoke will react as such, and you'll feel the airplane battling back at you. Now, again, it is dependent upon how detailed your profile is to receive those things. So that's when I go back to that initial drawback is I wish I could sit here and say, hey, you plug it in and it reads all of the data from the sim for you and you don't have to mess with anything. Not necessarily the case. CLS to sim reads the data from the sim and then sends it to your yoke. So it's only as good as your profile is and as detailed as your profile. Now, some add-ons, from what I've been gathering, there's not a ton of information other than just digging into the actual manual of the CLS to sim software about certain airplanes have different characteristics and how it reads with CLS to sim. So I'm still very new at this. I'm still very new at the whole CLS to sim profiling and stuff. But yes, you can make it react with the high winds. Now here's another massive plus. This is a cool thing that happened that I totally forgot about. So going back to that TBM, I started up, brought the prop out of feather, the yoke was vibrating. Cool, that was awesome. Never felt that before, other than when I was, flying pistons and PT6s around. So I taxi out to the runway and I go add my set power, right? As soon as I set torque, what'd the yoke do? Vroom, came right back into my lap because I forgot that depending on which airplane you're in, TBM, I know the 99 did it. I can't remember if the Chieftain did it. I'm pretty sure it did. Just the actual force of the elevator will pull the yoke forward into the dash. So depending on the aircraft you're in, you'll either have kind of a fairly neutral yoke position, or the flight controls will pull the yoke forward. And now if you don't grab the yoke and neutralize it before takeoff, if you're just kind of used to dead fishing and you go takeoff power, that yoke is going to fly back at you because it's going to get that the air going over the elevator is going to neutralize the elevator, and what's that going to do? The yoke's going to push it back. So that is a really cool feature that I totally forgot about flying light pistons and twins around. I forgot that was a thing. That's also a thing with the Bruner force feedback. So there are some definite awesome features to having force feedback. As I continue to grow and I continue to experiment with this, I'm sure I'll have more to say, but it definitely I feel that it was a justified purchase in my opinion. It's definitely justified for me and what I'm trying to do with my sim here. Now you look at there's two versions. There's one that's I think $800 or $900 more. And the only thing that I noticed was difference was it had a longer travel, a pitch travel, and then it gave you a PFD in the yoke here. Now, I don't know what you would use that PFD for, anything other than maybe a clock, or I guess you could see what profile is active, which could be helpful because linking profiles can sometimes be finicky. Theoretically, if you link the profile in CLS to Sim, when you load up the airplane, it should link and load to that. But unless you, since I don't have the PFD, I have to actually look at my monitor to see if it linked to the proper airplane, which is not a big deal. So I didn't think that was worth $900. And as far as the pitch movement, I've not been in a situation yet where I felt like this pitch travel has been too short. I think the longer one from Bruner is, I want to say it's almost like twice the travel. But like I said, from messing around on the Learjet and some of the TBM and now the 7.8, I have not been in a situation yet where I felt like this travel was too short. It's actually pretty significant. It's even longer than the Honeycomb Alpha. So the Honeycomb Alpha I felt was pretty decent. It just was always stiff. But this is even longer, has longer travel than that. I know the specs are online. You can check them out. And then the other thing was force. You can have greater Newton force with the bigger Bruner. Let me tell you something. This one, I had it locked down on the no hydraulic, I was trying to simulate a hydraulic failure in a traditional 737 profile that I was just toying around to see what this thing could do. The amount of force that this yoke can produce is pretty crazy. I don't think there's any reason for me to spend an extra $900 just to have more force on the yoke. I mean, at that point, my whole desk would be, I'd be throwing my desk around with the amount of force that would be applied. So it's definitely powerful enough, and I've not been in a situation where pitch travel has been an issue. And I don't see a real reason other than maybe a clock or knowing exactly which profile is linked with that little PFD here. I guess you could put the attitude indicator here, but what fun is that? I mean, I guess it could be fun if you want to fly from window view like we are right here. I could look here, see my PFD, but then be looking at window view on the screen. I don't know. But those are my thoughts initially on this airplane, or on this yoke, and so far, so good. Hayden J. Robbins, thank you for the £2 donation, man. I landed a 6-month contract with EasyJet today. Whoa, Hayden, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's very awesome, man. Congratulations on your 6-month contract. I wish you a very easy but fun-filled 6 months with EasyJet, man. Congrats. Our 787 is basically the same as the 777. We can custom paint it Boeing brown. Ooh. We could send a different invoice to the wife. Yeah, Roberto, you might have to do that for sure for BombTech. Meanwhile, there goes TOD. Would the beacon be on in cruise? Yes. TOD? No, we didn't pass TOD. TOD's coming up here at Nebo. We got a little ways to go yet. We're not quite there yet. But we're ripping. 77, not crosswind. I wasn't anticipating landing at night. There's Cuba. I kind of like engine view. This is kind of nice here to get away from the wine. I don't know. Engine view is way better, though, I think. Captain Tango. 20 months of support. Thank you so much. Nice to see your hardware collection grow. Enjoy. Captain Tango, appreciate the support, man. Yes, it's been quite the growth process for the hardware here on this channel, but I'm trying to, when I started with the Airbus, stick. I wanted to find something that really represented the airplane properly and gave me that same sense of excitement flying an Airbus, on my home sim. And that's how we ended up with the side stick, and then we ended up with the tiller, and then we ended up with, okay, well now we've got that, we need proper throttles. Enter Throttletek, which has been awesome. I contribute my recurrent success and lack of failures in my sim checks to Throttletek, because I can sit here before I go to the sim, I run through my V1 cuts, I run through my profiles that I'm going to do on recurrent, and it's essentially one-to-one of the real airplane. So I just get that much more practice, and it's really helped me out on a professional level to have the Throttletek stuff. So absolutely love it. And now enter the yoke Although it's definitely not a sponsor. It's not a sponsor plug, like I said. I think it's going to add to that enjoyment because it started when we were flying the Lear. I was flying the Lear around, and I remembered it brought me back to my citation days, and I couldn't help but think, man, why? It's like, it just feels, yes, the pendular motion is nice. It's awesome. But it's missing that tactile feedback that yoke-driven aircraft have. And one of the first memories I have of flying a jet, a CJ, there's this, I think it was a straight, no, there was a Bravo. My first jet takeoff was the Bravo, the 550 Bravo out of Monterey. First thing I remembered is I remembered how heavy the yoke felt compared to my light twins and my single engine pistons that I had been flying previously. I was like, wow, you really have to trim this airplane or else you're going to just be, you can't overcome it. And like the way it accelerates so fast, and the citation, there's no hydraulic boosted flight controls, just like in the Lear 35. So the faster you go, the stiffer your control column is going to get. And the smaller your movements are going to be. I mean, you can fly around in a corporate jet that's not hydraulically boosted. I mean, you are barely moving, and the airplane is reacting. So that's what this brought back to me. Is like, I remember now. This is the forces I remember. This is a real. And then when we talked about the flaring and the lack of pitchiness. I mean, I'm running everything on straight curves. You want to make sure you do have straight linear in your Microsoft, and you can adjust curvature and force applied on the CLS to Sim software. You can set dead zones and everything in there if you want to. But yeah, straight linear, no curves, no saturations, nothing in the Lear 35. And I mean, it's not pitchy or twitchy at all. The TBM completely changed, not pitchy or twitchy at all. It eliminates that feeling that we always say, that twitchy pitchiness. Wrong side. Itty bitty nav charts in the yoke. Ooh, yeah, put itty bitty nav charts in the yoke. That'd be hard to read. What airport is MKGS? It is the what is it? Montego Bay, Jamaica is what it is. All right, we only have a few more minutes before we start down. That was quick, and I'm tired of listening to those engines. So let's. Oh, there's a shot right there. Or should we go this way? Ooh, that looks good too. I don't know. I like that view right there. I like that view right there. Just started to get into buying hardware myself. Airports, planes, hardware, flight sim is like paying the government. Yeah, I hear you, Schultz Gaming. I hear you. Now, that's, the more you put into your flight sim, the more you can get out of it. You just have to make sure you research. So like, for instance, if I take another industry completely unrelated, let's talk fishing. As far as fishing poles go, like I'm an avid tournament fisherman. I fish tournaments. I like fishing. It's been a passion of mine my whole life. You can just straight up say what you pay for is what you get in the fishing industry. Like there's really no ifs, ands, or buts. If you buy a cheap rod, it's going to have cheap characteristics. It's not going to stick together. If you buy a super high-end rod, you're going to get sensitivity, longevity, durability. In the flight sim world, it's not as straightforward because there are a lot of misleading there's a lot of misleading information when it comes to flight sim. Just look at the Microsoft the store, the marketplace on flight sim. There are some things on there that are being charged. I think there's like a flashlight color mod that's $5. I mean, what? So you have to be very careful with where you put your money in flight sim, and I kind of feel like that's one of my duties as a content creator and as someone who wants to share my enjoyment and my passion with the sim, is I want to make sure the stuff I show you folks is stuff that I personally enjoy and I think is a good investment. I mean, that's, I always come back to the Captain's Pack, the TCA. You saw that on the channel for what, maybe once or twice, and then I junked it because I was like, I can't get behind this. Now that's no shot to anybody that has it. It's just, I personally feel that was a massive scam, if you will, from Thrustmaster to rebrand the T1600 and then just, whatever. I digress. So the stuff that you see here on this channel is stuff that I firmly have confidence in and stuff that I firmly believe is money well spent. Now, just because you don't see my TCA Boeing yoke anymore, that doesn't mean it's not money well spent. The TCA Boeing yoke, like I said, phenomenal. If you are in the market for a yoke and force feedback is not in your future, save up for the TCA Boeing yoke. It's a phenomenal yoke. You won't be sad. You won't regret it. I promise you. It's awesome. If you are looking for throttles, if you want a specific airframe throttle and Throttletek has it, look no further, because you're not going to be able to bridge that gap between entry level and cockpit builder and be happy if you want something. So if you want something specific, look for Throttletek. If you want something generic, look for that Honeycomb Bravo. Now, I say that with an asterisk because that Honeycomb Bravo, with the whole drama with Honeycomb, I'd be very careful with spending money on Honeycomb stuff right now, but that's just because of the current situation with the whole business side of things. So, anyway. Flashlight color mod, $5. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Exactly. I suppose flying in real life is applying pressure to the controllers rather than moving them like a dead fish controller. In the little Piper 28 and Cruise, I kind of lean on the yoke to turn gently. Yes, Dale. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You just little pressures is really what you need. Really what you're doing. And the faster you're going, that's going to be emphasized even more so. Wrong Side Sim says, I was going to do a very similar to stream today, Miami to San Juan. That's where I was going to go, Wrong Side, but wasn't able with the delivery flight prep. Got a jet coming from Hamburg in a little while. Flight delayed 4 times. Oof. Now working on days off. Wrong Side, I'm sorry to hear it, man. Well, I'll do a flight out of San Juan just for you, my man. We'll fly out of San Juan in the King Air or something. You don't do cockpit rays with your flashlights? If buying Honeycomb, try to buy from a retailer, not direct. Yeah. Make sure that it's someone who has it in stock, because that whole thing is kind of a mess. All right, we need to start prepping to start down. Let's set a lower altitude here. What's happening? Oh, it's turning. I'm going to set 10,000. We're approaching TOD. Oh, this is going to be nice. Let me pull up let me see if there's any control online. I don't think anybody is online today in Montego. Nope. But I see Avianca out there, and I also see... I don't know where the Latam guy went.
Traffic Avianca 901 Heavy. Lenar 7 arrival from Inari 3000 in the ARC.
All right, that sounds like that Avianca 78 is doing the ARC. Let's go ahead and start looking at our charts here. Let's go back to airports. Sangster. What species of tournament? Bass fishing, Bo. I got a big one coming up on Lanier, which I need to start practicing for. Gotta get back. It's time is upon us. All right, that's not Sangster. Where's Sangster? Charts. Lenar 7 arrival. We hit TOD. It looks like it's going to do the arc. I want to pick up visually, but Lenar, there's no real altitudes on there. Let me look at the approach. We have the RNP 7 loaded up, the Usain Bolt one. Usain Bolt done it. Now Lenar is somewhere over here. What I'll probably do once we get a little bit closer, we'll just go. I'd like to go direct Riled. That way we don't have to do any PTs. Or Rildy. Let me see what we got in the box down here. We're on a descent profile. We're coming down. Let me go to the legs page. Inari, Lenar. Then it has a disco. It goes straight to Usain. You know what? That takes us right to the final. Let's just do that. We'll leave it as is. We'll leave the disco in the box. That way we can just direct ourselves. Because I want to hand fly. Once we get visual, we're going to just kind of hand fly it up. As far as minimums go, we'll set a barrel min here. Let me pull up the chart real quick. I know you can't see it. The barrel min, LNAV, VNAV is a DA. It's 610 feet. So let's come here. Let's set 610 in the barrow. Jeez. It's going from 8 to 4. All right, there we go. Now we'll set 600. Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. $610 feet. Now we don't have to add 50 because it's just a barrel in. Or I'm sorry, that's a DA. Man, imagine having to do that every time. 610 in the barrel. We don't need any LS push buttons. It doesn't apply anyway because we're in a 787. We're going to keep our flight directors on for now. I don't think the HUD is going to work with frame gen, guys. I really wanted to use the HUD. Well, actually, that actually doesn't look too bad. I thought I was having issues with the HUD and frame generation, but we might be all right. I might pull the HUD down when we get in closer for the visual approach. But I'm going to keep the flight control page on because I want to see it myself. I'm going to leave my engine page on. I know this is kind of a non-traditional way to set this, but I'm keeping this here again to kind of see what the flight controls are doing in response to what my yoke is doing, because we've already talked at length about what's going on with that situation. All right, did you see there was a big event in Jamaica the other day? Apparently it was a celebration for Usain Bolt. No, I didn't see that, Ted. I didn't see that, unfortunately. I did see an amazing 787-900 sunset, though. Dang on. The default Montego looks good. Heck yeah, I can't wait, Kyle. Does V1 say what airline it flies for? I keep it confidential. I keep it confidential, Jay. Top secret. Actually, no, I don't. I fly the Airbus for Southwest Airlines. You have to delete Usain? Why would I have to delete Usain? I got a disco there. I got a disco before Usain. That way I could just go direct Usain once I vector myself on. Get good, Team Vodka. Would you like to see a HUD in a 320? Nah. I personally think HUDs and Civi jets are just too much information overload. There is a declutter, right? Where is the declutter? I know, where's my 787 fans? There's a declutter button. I know someone will tell me. I just think it's too much. And maybe if I trained with the HUD, I'm sure I would think differently. But you have to remember, for over a decade, I've been looking at a PFD in airliners, right? So my eyes are just trained to look here for information. So when I'm trying to look here, when I feel like I'm missing a piece of information and I don't know where to look, for that split second, I'll look down here because I know exactly where that information is. And then now I'm doing this thing with my eyes, and that defeats the purpose of a HUD. So I think if I were to train with the HUD and fly a HUD regularly, I think I'd be fine. I mean, you can really fly precision approaches with the HUD. I know Alaska flies their Embraers, Cat 2 hand flown with the HUD. So I know you can get really precise, and it's easier to fly with the donut. I definitely think it's an easier thing to do, but you just have to be trained appropriately. It's on the yoke. Oh, thank you. That's right. It's this one right here, right? Nope. All right. Hold LNAV, VNAV speed. This one. There we go. Thank you. So now I've got a vertical speed and an indicated. All right. I see that. All right. Thank you. Who was that? Thrustset? Thanks, man. I'll check that out when we get down there a little bit closer. We'll see. I might try the HUD, or I might just stay traditional. Let's turn down. Ooh, now we're getting juicy with it. I mean, the plastic princess is growing on me. Do you guys like the plastic princess? I don't know. I kind of like this airplane. I think the true deciding factor will be when we get the Indy Builds A350. I'm getting pretty high. Yeah, we are on high on profile, aren't we? Let's crack a little speed brake. The juicy is being turned up to 11. That is a mean question, Fractality. You like both of them? I don't know. Maybe it's just the moment of being here with the Yoke that I feel like I've just been hit on the head, and I'm in love with the 7.8 all of a sudden. We'll see how it lands. Then I'll probably remember that I don't like this airplane. I think the problem is it's still default. Now the Kuro, I thought the Kuro flew pretty good. How does this fly in your guys' opinion? How does this one fly compared to the Kuro? Are they comparable, or is it... I know there was a flight model tweak from Phantom 320 himself. Let's go more speed brake. Wow, that is juice right there. Have I ever flown to St. Thomas? I have. Payne, this is the Bruner CLS 2, and is the NG? I don't even know what it is, which version it is. What version do I have, Chad? The dimmable passenger windows. Can you dim them? You can't dim them on this airplane, can you? Love the 787 because in Boeing I trust. 64 to 36%. That's pretty good. All right. Now we're below. I want to set up a, let's descend straight to 5. Gosh, I don't like that. Let me do it on my honeycomb. Oh, what happened there? Why did it scroll all the way back up? I'm going to set... Ooh, we just rocked all the passengers. I'm going to set 4,000. I want to do a flight level change at 250 knots. Yeah, see that up and down, up and down. I don't think the real airplane would be that aggressive. Let's get some speed brakes.
Traffic, Avianca 901 Heavy, 10 miles for whatever runway we're landing on.
7?
For 7.
All right, lights are coming on. Logos and wings. Flight level change down to 4,000. Oh, that is the juice. Aviator Nick, good afternoon. Good to see you. We're diving down to 4,000 because I want to pick up the airport visually, and then we're going to try to do a hand-flown approach here. Looks like it's going to join the arc just fine here at Lennar, or for Lennar. That's D34, so 34 DME. We're looking good. Airport's out here. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to dim that glare shield flood. American ran 787s down here in real life too. I'm looking for the A350 Aviator Nick. Yeah, me too. The Anybuilds 350 is going to be pretty awesome. It's going to make or break. It's going to make or break the year for me, I think. If it comes out this year. Probably come out in 24 though. All right, we're 5 for 4. Once we level at 4, we'll stow it up and we'll fly the arc until we pick it up visually. Go ahead and start stowing these. Speed brake stow. There's our level off. 500 feet to go. No way Anybuilds comes out with a 350 and 24. I don't believe it. Tom, I'm kind of there with you, man. I'm not sure if I believe it either. I mean, I know it can be done. Because they're pretty hardcore. Let's go ahead and slow to 200.
Thanks, Bianca 901 Heavy. We're going around.
Say reason for go around.
Go on.
787 already went around. Gosh, this is just... It's almost like flying on a cloud, you know? They named it properly with Dreamliner. Now, it'll be interesting to see how it flies this arc here. This is interesting situation here. Let's go flaps 1. Oh, we forgot to do our descent, recall auto brake, do auto brake 2. We need to do our altimeters check, speed brake landing gear, flaps, we'll get all that. We need to do our perf landing data. We're going to do 30, 143. Oops. 30 and 143, no wind correction +5, 148. Alright, so we're on the arc, 200 knots. That looks pretty awesome. Slow to 180. Sanctuary traffic, or correction, Montego Bay traffic, American 357 Heavy, we're on the arc for runway 07 at 4,000 feet. Basically setting up for left base now for runway 7. We'll go 180. Flaps to 10. Let me get flight recorder ready because we definitely want to see this. All right. Runway's over there. I'm gonna... I want to shoot a line. If you take bolt and put it here, that's close enough. And we're going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot. Autopilot's off. I'm going to hand fly. We're 180. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give myself the flight path vector because I'm scared. I'm going to turn off the flight director. We'll leave 4,000 for our go around. And we said 143. And I'm going to take command of the thrust here too. So I'm going to bring the thrust levers back. I'm going to disengage the auto thrust. So now we are hand flying. We're on a left base. Trickling down out of 4,000. Just remind me to start the replay. What's that? Oh yeah, it's autopilot disconnect. Do you have to leave that down? I was wondering how you clear that message. Alright, we're descending out of 4,000 for go around. I saw someone there at 9 o'clock. Was that Team Vodka? There's that other 7-8. Oh, look at the little bit of turbulence there. Gotta love it. All right, I'm gonna go gear down early. We're gonna configure early. So with what Roberto said about flying it with 2 fingers, pretty much have that down in the roll. I know I want to edit that a little bit more. I think I'm gonna loosen up the pressure even a little bit more. I guess I could, where's the approach button? Let's level off at 2,500 here. We're getting over. Actually, no, we're fine. We'll keep coming down. I can just see the runway there. We've kind of flew into a cloud. This is not really a legitimate.
2,500.
Speed brakes are armed. Auto brake 2. Let's go ahead and get all of that in there. I'm a little bit high, correcting. Let's just see for science. Oh my goodness. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I gotta practice on that. All right, 143. Flaps full. Power set. And Montego Bay traffic. American 357 heavy. We're turning final about 8 miles. Somewhere 7. Montego Bay. All right, we're low on path, so I'm going to kind of level her out here. Man, 14 knot crosswind. A little bit slow correcting. Never really, it's never good habit to fly in level flight fully configured, so I got a little bit slow there. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and follow that glide path down. Now I'm curious. Now that I'm pretty much synced up, what's it look like on the HUD? Oh my goodness. I can't, y'all. I can't. Maybe if we were doing an ILS. See, now I got high because I was messing with the HUD. Let's bring it back. Let's go ahead and start the recording. Did not want to do this at night. Took a little bit too long to get off the ground in Miami. .20 knot crosswind. I feel like 143 is a bit fast. It's almost like at 134 it feels better than 143. Let me double check that. 143 at flaps 30. If you say so. It doesn't feel right though. It feels too fast. Yeah, we're gonna have to go around. We're high. We're too high messing around here. Hey, watch this.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 500.
I don't like it. We're too high. Let's go around. American 357 going around. Positive brake, you're around. Too high. And I don't want to fly at night. I don't want my first approach to be at night here. I want to see. The sim is too dang pretty to fly at night. Alright, we're gonna disengage everything here. We're gonna go auto throttle off. That's coming off. Flight director, I'm gonna resync you off. We're just gonna do a visual approach here. Let's come up to about, I said 4, let's do 3. $3,000 feet. We're flaps 5, we're 200 knots. Slow down, maybe. I'm gonna stop that recording. We'll start another one when we get there. There's no reason to save that one. That's trash. Too much fooling around with stuff. Let's get back down to 3,000.
Traffic on Yoke 901 heavy 3 miles.
He's on 3 mile. He should be right out there. Visual approach. That heading bug around. 3,000 feet, 180 knots. We're flaps 5. Probably go flaps 10 there. There's that 7.8 over there. All right, we'll try this again. Plus, it's fun to fly. Start trickling down here. All right, 3,000 set for go around if we got to do it again. Autopilot disconnected. I know. Now there's got to be. I must be missing something. No, speed brakes are armed. Auto brake is 2. We're still ready to go. We're going to do 143 again. That felt too fast. I'm going to do 140. I think it's a flight model thing. 143 knots. It felt like I was pushing the nose over at level flight. Hit the yoke autopilot, disco to clear. While I do that, I think the binding might be wrong. I have toggle disengage autopilot. I have to look to see what I had bound before. Because there's about 5 different autopilot disengages that you can bind. I think I've just bound the wrong one again. Oh yeah, this is way prettier. This is why we fly the sim. Who wants to fly at night? That's so lame. Let's turn base. Montego Bay traffic, American 357 Heavy, turn to base, runway 7. Oh, you know what? I bet I can cancel it on the yoke. There we go. Yeah, I have to bind whatever that binding is on the yoke. Does anybody know off the top of your hands? Because right now, the button that I have bound on my hardware is toggle autopilot disengage. That's clearly not the right one. All right, let's configure early again. Let's slow it way down. Gears coming down. Keep trickling them down. This one's straight up visual. Man, that 20-knot wind right there, it doesn't help. Here we go. Flaps 30, gear down, slow into ref speed. A little bit low, correcting. Montego Bay traffic, American 357 heavy on final, runway 7. All right. Try it again. Autopilot AP disconnect. So maybe, okay, so I have the toggle one bound. Maybe that's what it is. I gotta just do the straight AP disconnect. I thought it would be difficult to have a sim that has a binding interface worse than P3D. Man, Microsoft Flight Sim gives you a run for its money in terms of binding controls. All right, new recording is on. New recording's on. We're on final. I see 2 whites, 2 reds out there, a little above the glide path. Correcting. So one thing I'm going to adjust to in my profiles, I'm going to adjust the trim or the speed at which the trim travels. So you can tune that in the CLS software too. So right now I think I have the trim moving a little bit too slow.
1,000.
How are we getting high again? Does the 7.8 come in flat? There's either something way off with our weight and balance, or I'm just not used to this deck angle. I mean, we're literally 2 degrees nose low here.
Approaching minimums.
I just feel like we're way too fast.
Minimums.
There's weight. All right, there's 2 whites, 2 reds. Definitely feeling that wind out there. I mean, it would make sense that it comes in flat because it's so long. Yeah, 130 on the speed is plenty. Nice and low over the beach.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Don't flare too much. Ooh, that was That felt firm as hell. I'm scared to hit the tail. That felt firm as hell. Mercer's green. Stow him. I don't know. Something about that speed just seemed way off. Kablamo! Okay, we need a kablamo emoji. God damn, we need a kablamo emoji. Auto brakes off. Ryanair, ring, ring, ring. It's so bizarre. I want to look at the replay. I want to see what that deck angle looks like. Because we were coming in 10 knots slow, and it just felt wrong. Just felt wrong, man. We'll look at it. 498 big smash. It felt good though in the pattern. You know the good thing is though, because of our replay tool, we'll be able to do a redo. We'll do a redo. Going a little too fast for the nose wheel there. I set you up for failure, my bad. Why'd you set me up for failure, Tom? Wow, that is pretty though. Look at the sun just dipping below the horizon. Yeah, it just didn't feel good, but we'll try it again because you know how we can do it in replay with the extra tries. Sending ground ops to check the runway. I mean, that was my first ever 787-900 landing, so for what it's worth, it's not like I sat here practicing landings. It's all right. We landed the Fokker at 28 feet per minute, and I believe that flight model way better. Box up the yoke and ship it back. No, dude, it was still, with as firm as that was, it's still, dude, flying in the pattern, just unreal. Like coming, I don't know if you could tell, but like I could feel the wind kind of fighting the airplane, and I'm kind of adjusting it, but like just ever so slow. Oh, I need to figure out, I would imagine it does. In the 7.8, yeah, of course it does. If you roll in and then you let go, it's going to go to neutral, right? Like if I roll the yoke in, yeah, it would go to neutral. So that's set up right. Because you could set it to where it's almost like a CWS mode, but that'd be like fly-by-wire. I wouldn't do that. I think I need to reduce the force a little bit, and then I'm going to turn on the autopilot sync with the yoke. This is a nice little airport, though. We're coming in with all our lights on because I don't want to mess with all the switches. Well, we do have a marshaller, though. Look at this sim, though, guys. This is default. Come on. And this is a free airplane, too. This sim is amazing. We are so fortunate to be simmers in this era. This is just awesome. Look at this. As a kid, I would have been killing to have this visual here. Look at that juice. Are we gonna hit? All right, we're not gonna shut it down though, because I want to go right into replay mode. So let's go right into replay mode. Let's disconnect from that sim. Nice flying with you, Avianca. How's that? 278s.
Donuts for everybody.
Hell yeah. Dude, I like that 800 better. What do you guys think? Just visually, I like the 800 of the 7.8 better. This looks like it's trying to be a 777 too hard. I think the 788 is my favorite visual. All right, let's go right into replay. Let's see what that looked like, and then we're going to do our redos. Mulligans brought to you by V1 Sim. So straight into replay. I want to see what happens with the flaps if I don't reconfigure. So send it into replay. Oh, it's trying to configure. Look at the handle now. You can watch it. We'll watch this one. Last time I flew in Flight Sim was FS 2004. Man, this would be a huge game changer if you jump into Microsoft Flight Sim. 787-10 superiority. Ooh, Kyle, I have to look at who flies the 10. I think, does United have the 10s? Absolutely looking forward to more heavies in the sim. Aviator Nick, me too. I cannot wait for that PMDG triple. As mid as I think the 777 is, having a fully proper heavy wide body, and yeah, I can say proper wide body because PMDG is going to deliver. They always deliver. So it'll be proper when it comes out, even if it doesn't have RF legs. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Because as fun as these default airplanes are, when I get in airplanes like the F-28 and we fly that Fokker around, it's like, oh, this is why it's payware. You know, when you hand fly the F-28, you're like, okay, this is a payware airplane. It just comes out at you. So the 777 is going to be no different. You're going to go down the runway. You're going to rotate. Probably even just breakaway. If you load up, I bet if you do your first flight in the 777, you're going to do a long haul. You're going to probably spool up and be like, man, we need to get some. Just the taxiing is going to feel awesome. That first takeoff is going to feel awesome. Can't wait for it. How can you call a triple mid? Because it only has 2 engines. That's how. Triple is definitely mid. Give me anything with 3 or 4 engines. All right, so how'd it look from here? From window view. Oof. That might have been every bit of 500. Let me turn it down. Will there be another leg today? Not right now. There might be something else tonight, though. We'll see. No promises. I guess I am too slow, because look at that. I don't know if I should be coming in at that deck angle. Is that too much? Yeah, I think so. I think we might have been too slow. Maybe 143 is right. Maybe 143 would have been right. See, I was afraid to do more flare because I didn't want to hit the tail. I guess I could have flared it more. Man, we did crunch it, though. So it should come in flat. All right, let's try 148. Let's try it. So this is the best part about this replay tool. Watch this. So I'm going to turn the sounds up. I'll put you back into Boeing cam. Let's just, we'll leave fly live up. What the hell? I'll pause it. I'll rewind it back. And now I'm going to resume and stop the replay. So now it's going to be a little monkey here for a second. Let me get control of it. All right, so we're flying again. I've got control. Gear is down 1,000 feet. All right. Auto throttle's off. Let me get her back in trim. A little out of trim here. All right. We're way low. Let's correct. Let's get our speed up. Let's try this again. We're gonna do the 143 plus 5, 148. So that's got to be, we're going to be flat AF. All right, so there's 148. How do you fly 148 knots and come down the glide path? You got to be nose low. All right, we're going to try it though. We've still got, does that say, oh, I thought that said 32. It said 13. A little bit fast. I'm kind of S-turning. It was a little bit of a short final to get stable. Now we're 10 knots fast. I forget how much range of motion I have with these throttles. It's wild. We're still coming down a little bit fast, trying to get on the profile there. There's one red. All right, shallow it out a tad. Don't bleed off the speed. Now what was that? That seemed a little better. Hold on, it's getting too dark. Let's try it again. Oh, my screen is jittery. Let's try it again. That was, oh, there was a 422.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Stop replay. All right. Add a trim, correcting. We're back live. I got her. Here we go. 422 is an improvement. Let's actually record this one. I'm going to record this one. Daytime. Maybe I need the HUD. I'm gonna try trimming it out a little bit where it's almost a little bit nose up trim. You know, like a little bit more than I had, so I almost have to just kind of relax the yoke. I mean, that's pretty daggone flat. But to fly a glide path at 148 knots in this thing, we have to be nose low. Try with HUD next? Alright. That's a fair point. Try the HUD. Maybe just don't look at the pappies? I don't know. Too much. 20 feet high. See, we touched down at like 22 knots on that one. What'd that look like? That was a 203. Let's see. Oh shoot, let's hope the gear comes down in time. I mean, it doesn't help we got a 15 knot gusting crosswind here. You know what? I think it might be a problem with the trucks. Idle at 20 feet. All right, let's try two things. We're gonna wind it back. I'm gonna lower the HUD. Resume and stop replay. Okay, so that's me. I'm flying now. My views. All right, here we go. I'm flying. We're HUDing it. Put the flight path marker in a touchdown zone. 148 knots. More trim. Yeah, I gotta trim it out before we start the replay. Reduce to flaps 25. Ooh, maybe I'll try that next. Let's see how this one goes. Gosh, this HUD, I can't. I'm just oscillating. Idle at 20 feet, you say, huh? Too much flare. Ballooned it. Crunched it. Oh yeah, see the HUD? I don't like the HUD. Screw the HUD. Let's try flaps 25. We're gonna do flaps 25. We're gonna do a knit ref 25, 147. $452? I don't know. That was I gave up on that one. All right, 147 and 5 is 152. This is for science. Team Vodka, what was your landing? Well, you were in the Curl. I feel like the 788 was a greaser machine. The 788 was like just a butter machine. This one, I don't know. It's like a magnet. It's not flying. It's not flying. It's flying. We're way high on this one. All right, ignore the touchdown zone. I'm just going to try to get the flare right on this one. So ignore the touchdown zone. I just want to get the flare right.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Still too much flare. That seemed decent, but we're touching down at 120 knots. There's no way we should be flying at 120 knots if our ref is 147. Right? There's got to be a... I'm starting to think... We'll try a flare at 10 feet, Kyle. We'll try a flare at 10. I'm starting to think... I like flaps 25. Let's go flaps 25, 152. We know that's the speed. I want to blame the flight model on this, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I want to blame it, but I'm not there yet. It should be a butter machine in real life. The only 787 landings that I've been on have been super buttery. Power off at 50, says Gustavo. Yeah, I think that's the key, because I'm floating. Why are we touching down? Why are we still flying at 120 knots? That doesn't seem... right. I don't know. Maybe it can fly at 120. Ooh, maybe I should demonstrate the shaker. All right, here we go. This is the one. We're a little fast correcting. This is the one right here, chat. This is going to be a 180. Oh, this yoke, though, is so sweet. This is a 180 right here. 50. Power's coming out. Nice, easy. Easy, easy, easy. Kiss. Kiss. I didn't have the recording on. What was that? That one felt good. I wasn't recording it though, dang it. That was a 195? Okay, okay, alright. We might be getting it. One more. I'm going to record this one too. Alright, hold on. I got to stop replay. Oh, jeez. Alright, recording is on now. Oh, I think I bugged it out. Alright, recording's on. I don't know if we'll be able to go back after this one. We'll see. That felt better, though. That was a sub 2 hundo. Alright. Power up, power up, power up. Let's get the speed in there. I think, like what you're saying, so I'm trying, the 2-finger thing actually feels pretty good. I might change the force Newton about just a teeny tiny bit. But I could just, the vibration of the yoke, I can feel that the airplane is on. Just love it. Absolutely love it. This is why I fly Airbus, though, chat. I think my views are jacked up. Oh, well. Keep driving it down. I got to keep driving it down. See, right there, I'm like, I want to flare early. Drive it down. Drive it down. Start working that power out. There we go. Come on, baby. Kiss it. Oh, I didn't have my spoilers armed. Well, that was a flaps 30. That was a 331? No way! Let's see. No way that was a 331. That one felt better than the other one. Flare with trim? That seems like a bad idea. Oh, come on. That was not a 330. Are you kidding me? That was not a 330. That's just the landing rate. Come on. I know what a 500 is. I know what a 20 is. That is not a 300. I think it has to do with the truck. Well, maybe. Shoot, I don't know. One more. Let's try again. that was maybe like a 250. 250 at max. Come on. Give me that. 250 at max. All right, stop replay. Flaps 25. Flaps 25. Oh, we're close. Power, power, power. Here we go. I'm going to run that trim up more, though. Does it matter if the trim's not in the green? I guess he wouldn't be looking at the trim on landing. It's only got to be in the green for takeoff. Okay, here we go. Well, that might be too much trim. Now I'm using forward pressure. 152 on the speed, flaps 25. Now we're just a nice gust of wind right there. Try again.
500.
Fight the urge. The collision for the wheel is bugged? Maybe. This is the last one, I promise. I promise so much it's the last one I'm going to record right now. Recording is on. This is it. This is going to be a sub 200 in the paint. Sub 200 in the paint. A little bit fast. Man, that wind is stiff, though. It's a stiff, like 15 quartering headwind. You can see it on the water. Oh, come on. Barely legal. Oh, I forgot they're on the speed brakes. There you go. Close your eyes and hope for the best. J-foot, I think it could be a V-speed issue. That said 299. Yeah, I don't believe that. That's going to be the last one. Well, let's watch it. Let's see. Yeah, it's gusty too, dang. Eject, eject. I've never seen 7.8s come in straight flat. Look, we're nose low. Ah, flight model. It's got to be a flight model issue. Let's see. Okay, that is not a 300. It's the collision. That was like a 5. That was a 5. That was a 5. I'm calling it. That was a 5. I'm going to put it right. Where do we touch? Here. Drone cam. This, my friends, is not a 300. Watch this. I'll try to keep frame gen off so we don't get the artifacting. Let's get in here. Let's see. Resume. I'm dragging the tires on. Yeah, see? Now, that's a flight model. We figured it out. It's a flight model bug. Or maybe not a flight model bug, but it's a landing rate bug. Because I guarantee, that said that was a 300. I mean, I'm dragging that tire on. Maybe the spring-loaded gear, because aren't these spring-loaded? I don't know anything about the 7.8 truck system, but maybe they're like spring-loaded, this front one. Could be a collision bug, Migs. That's so smooth, you became a 787 driver. I'm proud of that one. I'll take that one. A little long. Oh, but that was the juice. Let's, hold on. This will look awesome in like a true flyby cam. Watch this. We're gonna disconnect the camera from the thingy-majigger. Roberto says it's a bug, so that's it. That's all I need. Roberto says it's bugged. We're golden.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, come on. I dragged those tires on. Oh, that was so sweet. Okay, I love it. Screw the landing rate itself. It's fun flying this airplane, though. It's definitely unique on how to land. I think it's a mix of both. I think it's the flight model. Maybe it's not necessarily flight model, but the speeds at which are being calculated for VREF. I don't buy that. I don't buy 153 knots, nose low. We're like a negative 0.5 deck angle coming across the numbers. There's no way you risk hitting the nose first. I understand that it comes in flatter, but no way it should be coming in at a negative pitch like that. So I'll take it. Thank you. Roberto says it's amazing. Roberto, thanks again for the Throttletek support. Guys, if you have questions, if you want to see what I'm running, ! throttle. You'll see the same throttle that I ran today, the 737NG throttle. Works flawlessly with the 787 profile. Absolutely love it. We might have to do another 787 stream here in a little bit. Anyway, shout out Roberto Throttletek. Thank you all for tuning in this afternoon. Appreciate you. Hope I shed a little bit of light on the force feedback. There will be more to come. I want to say I need more time with the Yoke so I can give you guys real detailed rundowns, but so far I'm absolutely loving it. I'm kind of obsessed with learning that profiling software, so we might try a later stream this evening on something funner. That's not a word, but we might try something later this evening. Well, I don't know, it's 7 o'clock. I don't know, I gotta go. Anytime. All right, I gotta go. Thank y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.